Okay, hi again. I'm back speaking with Dr. Christina Bjorndal. In last video, we were talking about the 4 R's, which is a way of working with your thoughts when you have difficult emotions and difficult thoughts when you're dealing with a mental health condition. And I just wanted to ask you, Dr. Chris, to elaborate a little bit more on the breathing, because you talked about how that is one of the really most important steps of working with your thoughts. And I thought it was just a really beautiful exercise you took us through. And so I'm hoping you can elaborate a little bit more on the breathing.
Yeah, I'll just explain that a little bit further. So one of the things I really want people to understand is the Latin derivation of the word inspiration actually means to breathe in spirit. So the difference between me and you and a cadaver is life flow, or we can call it, qi in Chinese medicine, or prana in Ayurvedic medicine. In Western medicine, we just call it the breath, right? Breathing. But, the first thing we look for when a new baby is born is it's their first breath, right? And at the end of somebody's life, it's their last breath, not the last heartbeat. So somewhere between the first breath and the last breath, we forget how to breathe properly. And so, and actually, this is quite funny. When I first started to see my first naturopathic doctor, when I told him I was going to make this career change and become a naturopathic doctor myself, I remember him saying to me, you know what, Chris, all you got to do is teach people how to breathe properly. And I was like, well, okay, so maybe I could skip 40 years of medical school and a lot of pain and agony and stress and just teach people how to breathe. I mean, that, and here I am, we've come pretty much full circle. And a lot of what I do is teach people how to breathe. But anyway, what I want you to understand about the breath, though, that it really is the gift of life. And the importance of it is it's such a, I know a lot of people take it for granted, and even myself at first, I was like, really? Like the breath is, that important? But what it does is when you do this centering with the breath, so just to recap on the 4 R's, the first R is recognize, then we want to refrain by relaxing into the breath, and then we want to repeat the process. So when you relax into the breath, what I like people to do is put their right hand on their belly button. So we'll get you to do that now. And the reason we do that is you want to understand the right side of your body is the yang side. And so we want to balance the energy in you. So when you connect with your belly button, that's a yin area that represents the first and second chakras in Ayurvedic medicine, which have to do with your sense of rootedness, security, belonging in the world. And then the left side of your body is the yin side in Chinese medicine. So we connect that with our heart, which is the fourth chakra in Ayurvedic medicine, but this is also a yang organ in Chinese medicine. So we're balancing the yin and yang energies with your two hands. The other reason I like your hands placed here is to illustrate there is more serotonin receptors between these two hands than there is here. There's also more electrical activity happening in your heart than there is in your brain. And oftentimes I feel like we are looking at the wrong organ when we talk about mental health. Everyone's focused on the brain, but I think a lot of times it's a disconnection from the heart or the soul or the spirit of a person. The other reason I like your hands here is to illustrate that diaphragmatic breath. So if you are taking and engaging your diaphragm, that right hand has got to move. So when we breathe, we're going to be breathing in through the nose, and you're going to be expanding out into your belly, out like a balloon, pushing it out like a balloon or inflating it like a balloon. And ideally, you're going to look at something in nature. So you're going to look out the window, you're going to look at a cloud or a tree or a bird or your cat or a flower, something in nature. And what we're doing here when we breathe is we're bringing you into the present moment. So there's 3 places people can live in their minds. And I want you to, as I'm asking this, think about for yourself, where do you generally live? So you can be living in the past, in the present, or in the future. So I know a lot of times with mental health, people are anywhere but the present moment, right? And so the beauty of the breath and this exercise is to get you back into the present moment. And if you had been in the past, we really want to understand that there's not much you can do about that, right? Like, it's over.
Yeah.
You can't go back and change it unless you're like my son and you want to invent time travel because you just watched Back to the Future. So, but we haven't invented that yet. So you really just have to learn to accept the past and let it go. Really, that's the best we can do, I think, and learn the lessons that are meant to be learned from the gifts of the past. And then if you are, especially if you have anxiety, a lot of people are living in the future.
That's right.
But they're living in the future in a place of, from a perspective of fear, right? Of worry, of lack, of scarcity. So we want to recognize, again, that the future, we don't live there, doesn't actually exist anywhere. So we come back to the present moment and you affirm what's the outcome you want to have happen. So you put that energy out into the universe and then let it unfold, right? Deal with the future when it actually arrives, which is in the next moment. But in this moment, it's the present moment. So there actually is no concerns really in this moment right here, right now. There's really nothing to be concerned about in this moment. So let's just take that breath together. So we're going to breathe in and if you can, I know that there's different techniques and things, and I really just want you to just do your best. I know when I first started, I felt like physically, like I could not breathe past my heart chakra, that I felt blocked, I felt physically blocked. And it just takes some practice, and there really is no right or wrong, but over time your inhales will get longer and your exhales will get longer, and that's really, we don't really want to make it about having a goal here, right? It's not about being achievement oriented in everything we do in our lives. It's just about being with yourself and focusing on that object in nature that you've picked. Okay, so as we do this together, I'm gonna look at the background that you have, and we'll take the breath in together. So just breathing in and planting your feet on the ground if you can, just connecting with that, your feet with the ground, and then closing your eyes if you like, or opening if you're going to be looking at something in nature. So breathing in and then out. And then one more breath here, breathing in and out. And so what you want to understand is your mind's a really busy place, right? There's lots going on. If it's anything like my mind, there's a lot going on upstairs constantly. My inner critic is constantly throwing off opinions about what I'm doing and what I'm not doing. So this just gives me a little reprieve. It gives my physiology a chance to calm down, because there's no neuropeptides being created. I'm just looking at that object in nature, the cloud or the tree or the bird or the dog, and I am giving, it's like a mini reset for your nervous system. So the prescription for everybody is to do these 2 breaths, of course, when you recognize your thoughts, but also at a few other times throughout the day. So number 1, before you eat. And just to highlight the importance of this, digestion is a parasympathetic process. So what that means is, in order for digestion to happen properly within us, we need to be in a calm, relaxed state. And a lot of people have digestive concerns: constipation, bloating, gas, stomach pain, so heartburn. So the first step here, in my opinion, if you came to see me, is I would be working on slowing you down and asking, well, what's the state in which you're in when you're eating? And if you're chomp, chomp, swallow, right? Rush, rush, you're not even cooking your food, right? We want to recognize what's the first step in the digestive process. It's actually the sense of smell, right? when you're breathing in. The smell of the food, that sends a signal in the brain along the vagus nerve, hey, food's going to be coming.
Oh, I love that.
Right? But ultimately, people are really quick to prescribe something. And a lot of it times it's really, we need to slow down, right?
Mm.
So when you recognize your thoughts before you eat, before you get out of bed, before you go to bed, whenever you go to the bathroom, and whenever you're standing around in a lineup, these are all great times to just get back into the present moment. Okay? Because oftentimes we fill the space with our phones, right? And and you're just continuing to keep that nervous system turned on. And we don't need to do that. So we'll leave you with that. We'll leave you with that.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. I love that prescription. I think it's wonderful and really applicable to everybody. That is just, we can benefit so much from just a couple breaths. So thank you so much. And I look forward to the next talk we have on the 7 R's.
Yes. Okay. Thanks so much, Lachlan.
Thank you.
Bye.